Today I'm going to do the challenge issued by Spartanite67 and talk about some theater flubs. Now, the thing is, most of the times when I messed up on stage didn't really lead to an overly interesting story. There are two moments that come to mind when I think of things that I did, and one moment that comes to mind with a production that I was a part of. So I'm going to talk about those. The first thing I'm going to talk about took place at the tail end of my senior year of high school. I was in a production of Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella where I played the steward. During the song Your Majesties, the steward and the cook come in with scrolls to talk about their preparation for the ball that's coming up. One particular performance, I forgot to grab my scroll. The problem is, I realized it right when we were supposed to be singing our part. The first part of the song has the cook and the steward going, Your Majesties, Your Majesties. But instead what happened that night was, Your Majesties, Justies, because I had realized that I left the scroll off stage and was distracted by that. Now, the way that I was able to move past it once I actually sang what I needed to sing was just use the cook scroll and pretend that both of our preparations was written on the one scroll. So, despite the fact that I did miss the first part of that line, I do think that I recovered pretty well. The second story requires us to move forward in time quite a bit to the second year that I did Treehouse Troupe. Now, I have talked about Treehouse Troupe on this channel before, but just for a quick rundown for those who may not have been around at that time, Treehouse Troupe is a class that we could take in college where we learned two shows, a straight play and a musical, and we kind of toured them around to schools and also had lessons connected to them that we could take into classrooms. This particular year, we did a musical called Top Job. Those of you who have been with me for a while may remember that I did a video a few years back with my roommate Abby, though she wasn't my roommate at the time, where we talked about Top Job. It's not very good. All that aside, we performed this musical a lot, so I was pretty good at not messing up. However, one memorable performance, I was performing Did You Ever Wonder, which is a song that my character, who is the father of the two of the main characters, is singing about jobs that tend to be overlooked. I was at the very last verse of the song, but unfortunately I started singing an earlier verse of the song. I would love to be able to tell you that I recovered marvelously and was able to get to the end of the song while recovering completely, but that would be a lie. I just kind of sang gibberish while still doing the motions for that verse until the next person came in with their line. Not my proudest moment. The last moment I want to talk about took place all the way back in 2007. I was in a production of Alexander and His Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day where I played Nick, the oldest brother. Or is it Anthony? I played the oldest brother. For those who may only know this story by the book, you may be surprised to learn that there is a musical based on this book. And honestly, it's pretty good. So near the very end of the show, Alexander is going through some more terrible things that happened that day. And what's supposed to happen while Alexander is going through this monologue is a few cast members would put a blanket in front of him, and another cast member would come on stage with pajamas that he would change into while he's performing this monologue. What didn't happen one of these nights was a cast member coming on to give Alexander his pajamas. I was backstage at this time, so I got to witness the scramble as everyone was trying to find this actor to get her to go on stage to bring on the pajamas. The actor who played Alexander did a phenomenal job of getting past this. He basically just kept listing things that went wrong while he was waiting for his pajamas to be brought on stage. And he was also able to kind of riff with the piano player. So the piano player that we had for this production was a man by the name of Brian Neighbors. Brian is a fantastic piano player and just a fantastic person in general, and he's also just a goofball. So more often than not, whenever he is going through any kind of instrumental break where he's just kind of playing in the background of a scene, he will always inevitably put in music from other shows. So this particular night, he was playing instrumental from the show that we were actually doing, and then kind of transitioned into playing a little bit of A Whole New World. And so the actor playing Alexander was able to use that and mention that his parents also wouldn't let him watch Aladdin. So that was a nice little moment. We did eventually find the cast member who was supposed to come on with the pajamas, and she brought them on stage, and we were actually able to continue the show. But that particular moment is one that will always stick with me. These kind of moments are a big reason as to why I do really enjoy doing live theater. Anything can happen, and it does lead to really good stories. So with that, I will see all of you tomorrow.